Dumelang and welcome to this week's episode of Monday reTsene with Pretoria Psychologists. My name is Sharon and today I will just be talking about youth and time. Now, one of the defining factors of youth is time consciousness. I feel like in our youthful days, that is when we now start to realize that actually I'm at a unique point of my life because it's a time where you have a lot of energy, you have physical health more often than not, and you also have a lot of time that you feel like you can try new things, you can get into new ventures, and you're actually dreaming quite big. But what I've realized with time also is that it can also lead us to one or two things. So for other people, it makes them feel sort of relaxed and they just adopt like a leisurely attitude where you feel like, oh, but I'm young, I only live once. And then you just get into a mode of relaxation and you don't sort of get things done because you're feeling like these are my best years, I'm gonna have fun and I'm just gonna live my life like it's golden. Whereas for other people, it puts them under pressure, the pressure to sort of achieve things, to chase their dreams. I know some people even put time frames to say that by the age of 25, I should have done this. By the age of 28, I should have done that. And some things are practical, like saying maybe I want to do my master's in this time period. Others would say that by this age, I want to get married and so on. But both extremes can be negative towards our mental health because when we become too relaxed and too leisurely towards life, then we end up not preparing ourselves adequately for the future. But then again, when we also subject ourselves to too much pressure, we end up being too hard on ourselves and trying to do a lot of things at once. And sometimes we even put ourselves in a position whereby we feel like we're in control. And ultimately, we're not really in control of time. I mean, one thing about time is that time and chance is given to all of us. All of us have 24 hours in a day. But then who knew what this year was going to look like? Who knew that there would be a time on earth where things would be stopped and we would all have to be locked indoors? So in as much as it's good to plan and to have dreams and goals that you're working towards, it's also good to have the realization that you're not the master of time. And it's not the end of the world if you're not able to reach a particular thing at a stipulated time frame that you have set or not. It's also very important that we begin to live our lives in the present. I often say that sometimes we focus too much on what we want to achieve and too much on where we want to go, that we neglect or we rob ourselves of living in the present time. You know, they say that there is no time like the present, and that is actually true because you will never have another moment like right now. And if you deprive yourself of living joyfully and peacefully in this time, then you will never actually have a meaningful life because your life will always constantly be a chase of dreams or a chase of achievement and a chasing after things. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but you need to also remember that where you are right now was also once a dream. You once dreamed of, say, maybe having the car that you're having now. But right now, while you have the car, you are unable to enjoy it because you're already thinking about the next one that you want to have. So you see, it deprives us of the joys of the present. So let us do our best that in as much as we are young people, we are youth and we are ambitious, but we also take time to acknowledge the space that we are in and to live fully in the time that we are in. And I also say that sometimes when we come across challenges, you know, you find people sort of grieving and saying, oh, I missed the time when I was younger, when this was easier. And you sort of get stuck in the good old days. I feel like our best days cannot be behind us, but you know, better things should always be what is ahead. So as much as we might have had good days in the past, but we can't let those be the defining points of our lives. The defining points of our life should be in what we can do presently and how we can develop ourselves moving further. So it's also important that we don't subject ourselves to peer pressure as young people, because I've realized that people's lives go at a different pace. Like you get a 25-year-old who already has the masters, who already has the property, who has the marriage, the kids. Then you have another 25-year-old that is still sort of struggling through second year, or you're already chasing your degree for the third time or for the second time, or you sort of just still trying to figure it out. Both scenarios are okay as long as you are aware of where you're going and also you get the support and the help that you need to get you to where you eventually want to get. What peer pressure does is that it makes you focus so much on what other people are doing that you end up being in a state of depression and not being pleased with how your life is going. That will not give you joy. Instead, it will just cause you to be frustrated and rob you of the joy of life. So I do encourage you that let us become time conscious. Let us plan well for our future. Let us invest in our future through education or investments or whichever other way that we want to. But then also let us embrace the present time and live fully while we still have the day. So I hope this was encouraging to you. And do remember to tune into our other videos. And if also you need help in figuring out some stuff, remember there's never shame in asking for a helping hand. So till next time, have a good one.